One, two, three. We are not live. We are not live, but we are alive. Hello, lovely Gary.
Hello, Rachel.
Hello, lovely YouTuber. So nice to have you today here for our tea time tutorial. Today, we are going to be doodling and making beautiful flowers the easy way. But it's a really clever little technique because when I first saw this being done, I thought the man was drawing a light bulb in a shade. Turns out to be a flower. Keep watching, you will find out how you can make flowers the easy way. So that is with us in a few moments' time. But as always, we would love it if you would give us a ding, ding, ding. The reason we ask you is that if you do one of those, it means that it puts it out into the algorithm. And you never know, there might be somebody out there who really wants to learn how to draw petals from the shape of a lampshade. I know. So we would love it if you would say thank you. We want you to say thank you for our content. No, we would love for you to put the thumbs up, drop a comment below. We love hearing from you, and of course post any of your bits and pieces on your social media as well. If you want to jump straight ahead to that exercise, you can, but always here on the Tea Time tutorial, Gary and I chew the fat, as they say up north. We chew the fat. We don't actually chew fat. It means that we have a little conversation about something in life, and you might learn something. A bit of mindfulness. Yes. So if you're going, we will see you there. Ta-da. But if you're staying, well, here we are, Gary. Here we are for another Tea Time tutorial. So I saw something on Instagram today. I know it's always Instagram. Honestly, one day I'll say, I read a book. That will shock you. But I saw something on Instagram, and it was by Jay Shetty, who I really like him. And he's always talking about mindfulness and how we can improve ourselves. And today he got this Polaroid camera, just pretend this is the camera, and he just sort of went click, and then, you know, the photo shot out, and he said, look at that, an instant photograph. And then he turned the photograph over and he said, but this will take time to develop. And what he then said was, in our lives, we so often want everything to be instant because we live in an instant world. You could take a photograph in an instant. But when that photograph is developing, you know, that's when everything is coming to the surface. And he said, and that's what it's like in life. If you have chosen a path to go down, believe you're on the right path, keep going down that path, but have patience with it and let things develop. Keep going. I thought that was great. A really, really good example, Gary.
I can be guilty of wanting everything now. In fact, just only the other day, my partner Nick had to say, Gary, if it doesn't work out now, just because you haven't done it now, you can just, it will come. I'm thinking, oh, thanks. I need that advice, because sometimes you just get in that, oh, I want it now. And I'm used to getting things instantly and it's all got to happen. But no, sometimes you just have to let it go, because I think if you have that attitude where everything's got to be very instant and then something's not, my God, I know I've experienced that you get really like, emotional. You get like, oh, I'm really down, it's just not working out today. No, not today. It might work out tomorrow, but it doesn't have to be done today.
Even if you're just wanting to, you know, we were talking before we started this broadcast today about growth and changing our behaviors and changing our lives. And I think that when it's like anything, if you start smoking, the difficult transitional bit is that when you stop in the smoke and you stop in the habit, because you don't know what it's like to be a non-smoker. You only know what it's like to be a smoker. So it's so easy to go back into the old routine because it's what you know. And what you have to do is have the belief and the patience that you will become that non-smoker, that it will be better, it will all work out for you, but you've got to keep on that journey, and it's so hard to go back. And like you were saying, you know, when you want things now, and if you don't get them, it can be really detrimental to your mental health, because you can slip back.
We are being fed quite a lot of this instant success.
Yes.
Well, we're made to believe in instant success, and maybe that's not necessarily the whole truth. Occasionally, someone gets instant recognition, be that they've been on Big Brother, they may have put something out on the internet that everyone is gone viral and everyone is interacting with, but that's very rare.
But then what? What are you? But if you do something for a sustained period and you work at it and work at it and work at it, and eventually you get the success, the likelihood is that you've got a better bedrock, a good foundations. None of us know where this journey is going, and so why worry about it? Just keep going. Keep going on the road and don't get down about it. I know easier said than done, and you just said you were down, and I've been down as well. But you know, just something to put out there. Patience. What's the sentence? Patience is a virtue. I don't know.
It is patience. Patience is a virtue. And I think it is a virtue that maybe we forget to practice in a way. We have, have to learn how to do it. And again, we're forgetting. And I needed that lesson the other day just to remind myself, it's not going to be today. It might be a few weeks by the time or a few months actually, it's going to turn out to get what I want.
Well, this exercise we're going to do, though, Gary, is not about patience, really, because it's going to be a very quick exercise, although it's still a meditative exercise. This one very much so, because this one is kind of doodling and, doing rhythmic patterns. And that's why I picked up on it. I thought it was very us on our channel. But what I liked about it, when I saw it on Instagram with this chap doing it, I thought he was drawing a lampshade. And you'll see why. I thought he was drawing one of those angle poised lamps. And then it suddenly turned into a flower. And then when you see the flower, you go, once again, you would look at that flower and go, I couldn't ever do that. Only a proper artist could do that. These are the tips, the tricks behind the scenes for people who want to create those simple flowers.
And again, just all those people that follow us and come to our little creative doodle sessions, many have been following for quite a while now and probably thought at the beginning that I'm no good, but they've stuck with us.
Yeah.
And through their patience and sticking with us, they're getting better and better, all the time, because you're not instantly an artist or a great drawer or great anything creative. It's not instant. You have to keep at it. And so this is, again, another way of just sort of getting you to do a bit of mark making, bit of drawing. It's a little, I know the one you're going to show us is a nice little trick that you think, my God, that makes really good flowers. So that's the idea of this exercise.
Yeah. Well, you say that I'm going to show. No, you're going to show, because you're the artist and I'm the student. I brought it to you. That's the deal, Gary. I bring one to you and then you bring one to me.
Right, let's get our bit of paper out in front of us. Let's just start with that.
Yes.
Got a bit of paper.
Okay.
I've got it in you. Have you got yours?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Now, we're not going to go straight in with a biro. And usually I would say, don't I? Normally I say, we're not doing a pencil. I'm not going to let you rub it out. So you've got to go straight in with a biro. But for this, I think you could use a pencil. So what you're going to do is you're creating like a structure. So you're creating like a sort of a background structure, a framework to build your flower upon. So if we just do one thing, first of all, of an ellipse. So an ellipse is just like a sort of a squashed circle. I don't know if you can see that. I should really do it. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see it.
There you are. So this is good. And then inside the ellipse, halfway sort of on this line here, you're just going to do like a half moon upside down. So like that. Can you see that? There you are. And then under this ellipse, you're going to just draw a little, almost like a shallow little cup. So you're just going to come from the sides and you're just going to create a shallow little cup like that.
This is where I thought he was doing an angle poised lamp. I was like, oh, I see what he's doing. Yes.
A little. Then you can do another little sort of just a little half cup underneath there. Just another little half cup there. And then from there, you can create maybe a stem just coming down like that. So that's all drawn in pencil. That is your framework. That's your framework to draw from. So you've done it in pencil. So it means that you're allowed, you can rub it out, you can make it quite right, but it's fine. So yeah, lovely, Rachel. Now take I'm going to take like a pen. I'm just going to take, in fact, this one's one of those permanent markers, a pen. And again, you could do this in pencil, but let's just go straight in with the pen. So I'm going to start on this lower part down here, and I'm just going to think of that everything's got to merge into that almost into that light bulb. So you're going to draw in petals, but they've all got to come in at an angle into that where the light bulb is. So this one here, so I'm going to draw my first petal like that. Okay, so I'll show that up to camera so you can see a little petal like that. That's the first, so that's it. And then think of petals on that lower bit that they're all going to start to merge in, and I go either side like that. Can you see that?
Yes.
There you go. So they're going to go in, and then you're going to do some more. That's it.
Yeah.
Lovely. We've got lots of petals.
Yeah, I have. You know me, I always do more than I need to. Okay. Just finish.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
It's a really, you know, once you've practiced this, and we're going to do, I'm going to do a couple. We're going to do a big one, then we'll do a small one off the side. Okay, now we're going to go to the almost like to the back row of the petals. So again, start behind the light bulb, and you're going to do again that central petal coming up and around and down in that central light bulb up around there.
Yeah.
And then you repeat the same process. So you're going to come around and down, around and down. Probably another one in there. You see that? If I show you that, can you see that?
Yes.
Like that.
Yeah. Lovely.
Lovely. And can you see actually it starts to look really quite three-dimensional. Actually, yours is looking really three-dimensional there. Can you see how it's sort of cupping under where the
Yeah.
center of that flower is? So now really all you've got to do, so think of the center of the flower. You can draw around that little dome, the light bulb, or you can do some little dots or some little circles around there. So that's like the center of the flower. So you can make that lots and lots of detail in there. That's fine. Lovely, like so.
Yep.
Good. Okay, and then we can fill in underneath. So we can fill in the small little cup underneath, and then we can just fill in our stem. We can put a little bit of sort of some lines underneath the flower. And we can have some lines coming down from the top. So it sort of gives you a little bit of
Dimension almost.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah.
A little bit of yeah. All right.
Yes.
Looks good. Then when you're happy with that, as long as your ink is dry, sometimes if you go too eagerly too in with the rubber and rub out at that point, you could smudge it, but it should make sure it's dry and then just lightly rub out, and no one would ever know
Yes.
you've done it
I
in
haven't got a
pencil to start. Do you know, actually, if you haven't got a rubber,
Yeah.
a little bit of white bread works as like squished up in your hand, makes a brilliant rubber. But you haven't even got any white bread on your table, have you?
I haven't, but I've just realised I've got the end of a pencil. Hang on, so I've got
That'll probably be fine.
It's not really rubbing out.
That's okay.
All right.
As long as we demonstrate the process. Should we do another little more, another one coming off the side here? Should we do a different, and maybe see if you can change the scale this time? So scale wise, and again, you don't have to work with your paper facing up this way. You can just slightly turn it to then have a flower coming here. So maybe it's a smaller ellipse.
Yeah.
With a little light bulb and a little cup underneath it, and another little cup underneath that, and then maybe a stem coming from that. So you can make a smaller one. It's always nice to work in different scales and just try different like larger and smaller ones. And then again, once you've drawn that, then you can start drawing your petals in again.
I love these little shapes. They're such fun. And they're so nice.
Yes.
So easy to do.
And you know, what you'll find is that you'll practice this and you'll have the structure. In the end, you won't need to build the framework for them. You'll be able to just draw them, because you'll almost see the structure, the outline shapes that you need to create in your mind's eye. That's how it works.
Yeah.
But that comes with practice. You might think, oh, I'll never be able to do that. But after a while, you do. Lovely.
Nice. Okay.
Okay, so I think now you've drawn your outline, your shape is now to add some, you can just start just playing with a little bit of color, a little bit of watercolor or something. And I just think what you need to remember is, and I'm sure, I'm always talking about using paints and everything, wet media, paints, pencils, or whatever, is don't try and keep all the paints like contained within each petal. Sometimes what might be quite nice is actually just to wet the flower itself, just put some water over it, not too wet, but then pick up your color and then work in so it slightly bleeds, and then that will give a much more arty paint, what we call painterly effect, so it can bleed outside of the shape. That's it. Lovely.
Yeah. Do you know, it's funny, Gary, when you just said there, maybe wet your page first. I was just about to do that because that's something that I've picked up from doing these sessions.
Yes.
Yes.
It's
funny how, I'm starting now to kind of learn these tricks of the trade sort of thing, really.
If you look at illustrations in like books, children's books, and on cards and things like that, you'll find a much more looser approach to the painting, to adding paint and wet media to an outline of something. I think sometimes, obviously, when we were young, do you remember those colouring in books that we used to get at Christmas time, and a pack of felt tips, and we used to be ages, or pencils, trying to get right up to the black line.
Yes.
But in fact, it's much better to then, if you just let the paint slightly bleed, slightly go over, leave some white. It doesn't have to be right over to the, right up to the edge. And then it gives a much better approach. And remember, I'm just going to give it just a little bit of a dry with my hairdryer. And what I was going to say is, don't forget, you can layer up. So if you find, oh, I'd like it to be a little bit stronger, you could just, once you've dried it, you can layer with watercolor. So it means that you can add another layer of paint, which actually just makes it darker. What I'm doing at the moment is I'm just taking off the paint, just checking that I've got it to the right color. And then I'll just go in again and maybe just add, especially around where the edge of the petal, or where the petal's beginning. So it's coming out from the stem here. I'm just going to add a little bit of darker under there as it's coming in, and a little bit of darker as it's near the stamen there. So with a bit more denser color. So you can see, if I bring that up, can you see that?
Yes.
Like that.
Yes. Nice.
I like that. They almost, what are those flowers that what you've drawn there? There's a name of them. You've definitely picked them up there.
I don't know.
It will come to me probably once we finish recording.
Yes.
I'm going to do a little bit.
I mean, I have to say, oh, you're doing a little bit. Yes, of course, of course, of course, guys. Let's just do that myself.
Nice.
There we are. Lovely.
Gerbera.
Yes.
That's what you've done. You've just lovely gerberas.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say though, Gary.
What?
For me, I'm doing my grass now at the bottom. I have to say, I have flower envy. I have flower envy. I mean, I like my flowers. I do. I like them. But, if you look at the two, yours is clearly done by an artist and mine is done by someone who's learning to watercolor. But
no, not at all. I'm just they're lovely. No, really nice. And I love the technique. You found the technique, and I thought, yes, definitely. Because sometimes you forget, as someone that's like myself has practiced and done a lot art for a long time now.
Yeah.
You forget that at beginning you had these structures, as I was saying in that conversation. I now have the structures or the outlines, the foundation implanted in my head. So I'm seeing the foundation as I'm drawing. Whereas if, of course, when you're just beginning, you need to pencil out an outline. It can be very simple shapes. If you look at things in nature, try to simplify them into some sort of geometrical shapes, be that ellipse, circles, triangles, because a petal is just an upside down triangle with just rounded, sort of rounded edges. If you just start to simplify that, draw that, and then do your petal in that, that's how you do it. So yeah. I love it. Very good.
Yeah, I think that's a great one. I think, like you say, to have created, those flowers from just a simple shape as we did is very clever. We're about, got my new specs on, Gary. Look, got my new specs.
Oh,
I know.
They look very nice. Almost like invisible frames in a way. Is it got like
they're not an aviator, but they are a fake aviator. But Jennifer Aniston wears these. I think she wears the real aviator. So Gary, I don't think she goes for Specsavers £69, but I did, and I like them. Anyway. Oh well, that was lovely. So yeah, very, very pretty indeed. I like that. Just a simple, nice, and you could just create, you could sit there and just do a whole valley of those flowers, and it would be a lovely, mindful thing. And I think, as you say, Gary, what would happen is that you eventually wouldn't need to do the circle, the ellipses. You would just literally start drawing the petals, and you'd get the kind of feel and flow of it, and that's the idea. So yeah, I think that is a lovely, lovely exercise. So thank you so much. Lovely. If you've liked it, do please give us a thumbs up. We would love to see that. And leave us a comment. And of course, if you want to do any of these works, always tag us in Gary Mills Designs or Crafty Monkeys on Instagram and Facebook, because we always share them and we do love to see them. So thank you so much. If you want to do some more tutorials like that, we're cracking on to about 100, I think, nearly 100 tea time tutorials. Our list. I know. And if you'd like to listen to a podcast in the background, have a look at the old Breaking the Blocks. And there's 8 episodes there now. Some lovely artists talking about how they overcome the blocks in their lives. I'm going to get Gary on soon. I am. You're coming on. I'll delve beneath the layers. Right. Okay. Lovely, Gary. Thank you. Lovely YouTuber. Thank you. And we will see you next week. Okay. Bye.
Bye.